Welcome to the ATEX video library on the TransImporter2012 201. It's assumed that you watched the previous video on the basics, which is the 101 video, so that you know a little bit about just the basic functions, where the common controls and settings are in most of our programs. In this case, we're going to import transactions using the TransImporter2012 into QuickBooks. It supports all versions of QuickBooks up till the current 2014 Enterprise 14 and QuickBooks Online. In this case, we're just going to use the sample company, the Rock Castle Construction, in QuickBooks Premier 2012. All you need to do to start the program is click on the icon once it's installed, or you can use the Start Programs under ATEX. The program starts. In this case, since it is a sample company, it asks whether or not you want to run as a different edition. We're going to say no and run as the Gold edition. Once the program completes its initialization, you'll see the ready message appear on the bottom. That means you're ready to do what you need to do. Basically, the program has a series of tabs and multiple screens with multiple tabs, so there's a lot of flexibility. We're just going to cover the basics. First, you have to tell it what type of transaction you want to create. The default is invoice, but if we show all, you'll see that we have many more options. The next thing you'd want to do is to map the columns in your file to the fields, and these are all field names which are very similar to the QuickBooks field names. In our example, we have this spreadsheet, and you can see we have a customer name in column A, account column B, and so forth. When looking at our screens here, you'll see that the tabs are set up logically according to the way an invoice might look in QuickBooks. So if we were to bring up an invoice, you see that we have a header section, which is basically the customer information, order information, template. Then we have the line items body, where you have your items, the description, quantity, and so forth. And then we have a transaction bottom, which might have the customer message, tax information, and some flags like to be printed and emailed. The latest editions of QuickBooks 2014, they moved some of these on top, and we have not caught up with that yet, but the function is still there. You just have to look for it. In addition, we do have a lot of help facilities that you can use to find out about it. We have a quick overview where you can just go step by step. And we also have our documentation in the operations PDF manual. This is quite extensive, and you can get it either online or it is put into our folders when you do the install. So you should read those and become familiar with them before you attempt to do all the settings. But basically, all you need to do is say, where is my name? What's my customer name? And you pick column A. And you go through this for all the fields that you have in your spreadsheet. It's really not that complicated, and you just need to map those columns. We also have a tool that will help you, which is our load samples. And we have for most of the common transaction types. In this case, we're going to use invoice. We're going to say, okay, let's load the template, our template, for an invoice. And now you see that some of these are populated. We have a reference number, an I, the date, an H. Item name is F, quantity, item name is D, quantity an F. And we have up to 16 different columns you can use for the description, and it goes down and then to the right. Which character string you want to use to separate these fields, price. It all depends upon what your spreadsheet looks like. If you have a header row, where is the data really starting, and how many blank rows would be considered the end of the document. We have more information here about the addresses. Is there a company, is there a first name, last name, and so forth. We have the transaction bottom. Again, it's meant to look very similar to a QuickBooks transaction. So now we have our settings loaded. and we're ready to import. All we need to do is select the file and click the Go Import button, or double click on it. I'm just going to double click on it here. A little confirmation. We've got a status message on the bottom. It says it's complete. See input results, and here you see your transactions that were created. No customs are created, no items are created. We could then just double click on it, and it would show up right in QuickBooks. You can see there it is, and we created 3 transactions. It's really basically very simple once you get into it. We do have a lot of more features in the product. Our settings are quite extensive. As you can see here, we have general settings for the standard edition and higher. We have silver edition settings, gold edition settings. We support for QuickBooks Desktop custom fields, and it's all basically works the same way. Map a column in your spreadsheet to a custom field. And that's all you really need to do to import an invoice. Again, we do have a lot of other types that we do support, and the way you would change it is say, gee, I don't want to do any sales transactions, maybe I want to do a bill. And of course, the mapping has to fit a bill. And that means that you don't have a price, but you have a cost. Other settings can tell you whether or not you want to add a customer or vendor or not, and there's a bunch of it, and it's all documented in our operations manual. That is it for the basics on just how to import a transaction to QuickBooks Online. If you have any other questions, please contact us at support@atex.com. We do have a free forum. Just go to our website, atex.com, and under support, click on the community's forums. You're free to browse, ask questions, and so forth. Thank you again for watching our video on a transaction 2012, importing transactions into QuickBooks 201. Thank you.